Hey, come on now. Oh, y'all thought we was just gone. You thought we was just done. Come on now. First things first. God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the one and only Mr. Exclusive.
We in
We're
here.
back, baby. We are back. We're back. And look, it's around that time of the year. You know what it is. It's that Royal Rumble WrestleMania season. And you know we had to come back and talk about everything that's going on. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's talk about that Monday Night Raw, baby. I mean, I know I've said it before, but I really got to say it because, we had it, then we lost it, and now we're back to it. Because you know what it is. It's 3 hours of heat, 3 hours of fire, 3 hours of non-stop storytelling that just keeps getting better. And man, I mean, honestly, we got to look at it and really just look at this whole storyline that's going on. I mean, we started off the show, Seth is coming out, talking about he's going to, be in the Royal Rumble. It's his time. He's going to do it. This is his time to do it for a second time. Now, all of a sudden, Gunther comes out. At that point, he tells Seth, well, now, why don't you come out and I want you to win? Now, on a little side note, Logan Paul comes out. He says whatever, say he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Honestly, I don't take none of that serious when it comes to Logan Paul. But then a little bit later on after the show, we see Jey Uso. He comes out with Quavo. And at this point now, he says he can beat Gunther. He says that he's the one that's going to win the Royal Rumble. Now we flash forward to Sami Zayn, and now he's sitting there kicking Cody Rhodes. He is kicking Haluva kick right there. You see it. Cody's looking crazy. And then later on in the show, he gets up, cuts a little promo. Now, CM Punk, he gets up in his face and says to Cody Rhodes, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to take your title. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all at this point. We look at Raw, what's going on. This is just insane. I mean, we're talking about all these things that's going on. We're talking about Seth. Now, Seth's been going crazy. Seth has been doing this whole thing. He's had this whole situation with him and CM Punk. That's been a whole rivalry. We've been seeing everything with him and Drew McIntyre. That's been going crazy as well. Everything is Seth as a whole. I think we've been seeing other different parts of Seth. He was on Chris Van Vliet not too long ago and said one thing he really loves to see is the main thing is that he can show different sides of his character. And honestly, in my opinion, one of my favorite sides of Seth might be a little bit controversial, but honestly, the Messiah.
Yeah,
the Messiah. Hey, look, that was crazy. It might be a little crazy, it might be a little controversial, but that was one of my personal favorites to see Seth. And I think sometimes when I see that black jacket, when he puts that on, I say to myself, see what you're doing.
Where's Buddy Murphy when you need him? I just that's kind of where you look at it. And I will agree with you. Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins to me was probably one of the best. I've never been a fan of his laugh. I'll tell people all day that it drives me insane. It doesn't feel real, but even though I think it's his actual real laugh, I don't like his laugh. It feels like a villain in a cartoon. There's something going on there with Seth Rollins. Look, can't take away the ability in the ring. Never could take away the ability in the ring, but there's something about the giggle, something about the laugh. I'm like, all right, man, you're doing a little too much, my guy. What are we doing here? But no, look, this Royal Rumble is setting up to be special. It's got potential to be really special. And just in that little segment alone where You see Seth coming out there and giving it to Gunther and potentially setting up, who knows, maybe a match there down the road. Who knows? Because that's the beauty. That's the beauty about the Rumble. We really don't know what direction. They give us little hints. We see Jay come out there, and it's like, okay, Jay's been kind of on a roll. He's the hottest face in the industry. Like when he comes up, I know every time he comes out, the pop is different. I mean, like people are in it. This is Daniel Bryan pop. This is Bray Wyatt, whole world in his hands type of like a vibe. When you have that energy with the crowd, it's hard to say no to that. And Jay's kind of got that Kofi Mania vibe where it's just like, he's the hot guy that if he wins at WrestleMania, the pop is going to be insane. Then you got CM Punk, who obviously came back for one reason. Punk came back, Eric, to be the main event at WrestleMania, not to win championships. He wants to be the main guy. He needs that in his resume. He's got everything else. Championships. He's got the girl. We can go deep into that. He's got the girl. He's got it all. Been the AEW world champion. He's got everything. But the one thing on his resume, the thing that he needs more that's been taken away from him, is to be the main event at WrestleMania. And his path there is through the Rumble. But the title of this says everything. Back to 3 Hours of Fire. Ever since they got on Netflix, they've been cooking, but they've been cooking even prior to that. But when they've got on Netflix, now that they don't have no restrictions of how long they can do the show, because they could go for 5 hours and we'd be sitting there watching it
just the whole time. That's 5 hours of fire.
5 hours of fire. That's the beauty right now of them being on Netflix. But we're getting a lot of great wrestling. Great storylines are starting to creep up everything, Eric, and I love what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's to the point now when I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, I mean, at this point, who are you really going to pick to win the Rumble? It's like I'm looking at Jay, and honestly, this is the thing with Jay Uso, because I've seen some people, they've been talking about this with Jay. It's like every time he's been cutting these promos, even that last one he cut on Braun Breaker that week before when he won the title, it was like, okay, something about when you cut that promo, it felt like you knew something. And honestly, even with that last one saying, I can beat him, Moose, I said something about this makes me believe he's got a big possibility to win this. Now, I remember you and me was talking about this earlier. Like, if he doesn't win the Rumble, it's a big possibility he'll probably go into the Elimination Chamber and win that to face Gunther. Yeah. And I think even then he's still going to be in that main title picture. Yeah. It's really looking like he's. But I think what's so crazy is like there's so many people that you can put in that title picture and it seems appropriate or it seems like it's right. Like even with Drew McIntyre, just saying, him honestly, this man, Drew, has been the most diabolical man of 2024 and even coming into 2025 just going crazy. I mean, even pulling up to Paul Heyman, telling him, you snaked your way into life. Look, you made it on the cover. I said, oh my God.
I know. And Paul is sitting in the corner like this, and I'm like, that's beautifully done. Whoever did the cover art, brilliantly done there.
Like they really got him on the cover. But I mean, like, but even with Drew, man, I mean, he's just been killing it with these promos. I mean, even to the point where he even said, you can thank me for Roman's career. And I almost said to myself, man, he's kind of got a point with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it all. Loving it all.
Yeah, it's set up perfectly. And that's the one thing we talked about on this show. It's Triple H and long-term storytelling. It's a beautiful thing that he does. And shout out to Triple H, future, as an individual going into the Hall of Fame.
A two-time Hall of Famer now. Two-time
definitely,
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, definitely deserve. And all the people that was like, he put himself in. Okay, whatever. And does he not deserve to go in? At what point does he have to leave the earth in order for him to get in individually? The guy's one of the greatest of all time, 14-time world champion. But that's another thing for another day. But the way he set up the long-term storytelling is just beautiful, because with Drew, obviously, if we could take it all the way back to WrestleMania last year, Drew wins the championship. He's the champ, man. and CM Punk steals that from him, which set up one of the best storylines throughout this year. And the storyline's not done yet. That's the beauty part of it, because we are all thinking in our minds, hey, this is Punk's Rumble to win. Yeah. That's when you got to watch out for Drew McIntyre, because he's already planted the seed that he's not done with him. And if there's anybody that's going to ruin CM Punk's opportunity to book this Royal Rumble and go into WrestleMania and the main event, it's Drew McIntyre.
It's gonna be Drew McIntyre.
So right there, that storyline goes in there. You know, there's so many elements that has making Raw just amazing right now, but also just making the road to WrestleMania what it is. And you really just don't know. You truly don't know who's going to win. It's like we said last year, it was like 6 guys. It feels that way this year, and maybe with a few more. Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, even when we look at like with Sami Zayn, now honestly, even his situation at first, I remember we had that whole situation with, with him and Gunther at Saturday Night main event. The whole thing with the World Heavyweight Champ. We were like, nah, we don't want to see this with Sami. But at this point, it's even with him kicking Cody, it kind of makes it seem like, what if he wins the Rumble? And at that point, it's like, well, if he wins, is he going to try to help Kevin Owens, which is that's a whole nother, it's one of those things where even with that story ties into another story. And it's just the layers. The layers we are peeling back here for this. It's crazy.
It's beautifully done, because if that match obviously happens before then, and maybe Sami comes out there as a support, but who are you supporting? Are you supporting Cody? Are you supporting Kevin? Does something mishappen and Kevin Owens wins this match? And it's like, what? And like, now, granted, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but if the Sex's last name in wrestling somehow wins this championship, they planted that seed on SmackDown where they said, hey, look, if I win, Punk said, I'm coming after you. Now, I mean, that's what you do in wrestling. You kind of want to give people the allure that it could be that. But if it does, are you going to hate seeing Kevin Owens take on CM Punk? No, I won't, because Kevin Owens is box office. Like, he's going to do like every era has that guy who is just your MVP. He may not get all the championships. He may not, get all the time, but when he's there, he's that guy. In the last era, I would say it was Edge. Edge was always, he can win the championship. He cannot be champion. But when Edge was cooking, one way or the other, you knew Edge was going to be great. Yeah, Edge was going to have you. Yeah, he was going to be that guy.
I was thinking about him on the Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like that was the first thing that came in my head as I started laughing. Like, oh my God.
He was the MVP in that era when it comes to like, he could do everything. He could be a champion at any champion, tag champion. He could have been a mid-level champion, and you would have been like, okay, this makes sense. It's him. Kevin Owens is this generation's person for that. If he becomes world champion, you're not going to be like, oh, he don't deserve to be world champion. Kevin Owens can go. And if it wasn't for Kevin Owens, we talked about this pre-show. If it wasn't for Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes' title reign was looking pretty dry. But this last couple of months, the Kevin Owens heel turn has made it worth everything. So that's the thing. Like, there's so many elements to this. So many elements.
So many. And then of course, with CM Punk. I think even with CM Punk, it's so much with him. He's been saying this whole thing these last few weeks, even saying, look, I'll toss out John Cena. I'll toss out Hulk Hogan if you bring his dusty ass. I said, oh yeah.
That was great.
Punk, I felt that. So I mean, even with him, I'm like, even with him winning, I'm like, there's so many elements with him, possibly with his storylines intertwining. There's so much even with him with the favor that he has with Paul Heyman. With Roman. Like, that is still a whole thing within itself. We still have, even with him, even with CM Punk, even with the whole situation with him and Seth, with him and Drew. There is so much.
So many elements.
Even with him and Sammy. Like, everybody that's involved has, even Jey Uso, everybody that is in this Rumble has a intertwined storyline in this.
It's beautifully done.
This is good.
It's beautifully done because it could become a three. Like, there's something in my heart that says it's a 3-way for the title. I don't know how Gunther loses unless he's somehow still a champion and they mix it. But I feel like there's a 3-way for the title where it's Seth, Drew, and CM Punk, and it only makes sense.
Yeah.
The way the storyline is going, it would only make sense if it's a 3-way for the World Heavyweight Championship, and somehow, some way, at some point at WrestleMania. Now, I don't think Triple H is going to do that to Gunther, because I think he's a Gunther guy. But the way we talked about Cody's reign, it's starting to feel that way with Gunther. Now, we'll say lately with Jey Uso's been that main competition, so it's made it a little bit fiery. But it was the beginning part, it was a little rough. It was like, all right, who is he going to fight here? Because it's not the energy's not feeling what it needs to be. But there's so many elements. I know we keep talking about that, but the elements are great, and it's Rumble Day, baby. So we go into tonight, 6 p.m. Just turning to how WWE will go in the direction. Which direction will they go in? And we really don't know. And that's what makes it great to be a wrestling fan. That's what makes it great.
So many different directions we can really go. I mean, honestly, that really is the beauty about this specific Rumble. I think compared to the last few that we've seen, I think this is the one that is like the biggest toss-up. I mean, I'm not mad about this. I think seeing this is the second Rumble in the Triple H era. Hey, I feel like this can only get just as great as it's gonna be.
Yep. And the question is, are you ready? I mean, it's a legit question. It's a legit question.
Oh man, but we talked about Monday Night Raw and 3 hours of fire. Now it's time to talk about what's going on with NXT, baby. Come on now. Now, y'all know when it comes to NXT, I got a little special place in my heart for this specific brand. I mean, if you want to talk about a few things, we can talk about the women's division, what they've been doing constantly, all the time. If you want to talk about something else, we can talk about the tag team division that's been really stepping up. I mean, they've been going crazy. But one of the main things we really need to talk about, I mean, one of the big main things, and even before the main thing, we can talk about the Don. What's going on with him? Him with the North American title, but one of the biggest main things, and I mean the main thing.
Who?
It's over. Who? Femi.
Shout out to Heartbreak Brother.
Man.
Shout out to Heartbreak Brother.
Man, look, the Heartbreak Prince will be so happy about this, man, because you know how he is, how he feels about Oberfeld. This is one of his guys.
That's his dude.
This is his guy, man.
The Prince is smiling right now.
So, we go into NXT. We start off, it's going crazy. To be honest, if you want to go back to last week, I mean, we had a whole situation going on with Trick Williams, with Wes Lee, and that whole situation. But the main thing that was starting off, even from the side note, was the biggest thing with Oberfemi. Oberfemi comes out here on Grayson Waller's show, the Grayson Waller effect. He's going out there talking with him and Austin Theory. And first of all, I'm not even going to lie, they almost tried to play my man over in a way. But they was trying to say, that they ain't got, that he doesn't have the same success. And in a way, I was like, yeah, y'all are right. Because my man Oberfemi still has so much more to do. He has so much more to give. This is the same man that's already a North American champion. The man has he has the NXT champion. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to think to myself if this man even held the Heritage Cup. But the biggest thing, what took me was seeing Oberfemi really just kind of show how much of a dominant champion he is. Now, we want to flash forward. Now, at this point, we see Trick Williams. He's in the back. Trick Williams in the back. He's sitting there watching. Now, to be honest, see Trick Williams like this, I ain't going to lie. Trick Willie Wonka's out here looking. He's not like a lost man, but a man that almost lost it all. A man that's saying to himself, I got to do whatever I got to do to get my title back. It almost seems like, in some ways, my man's going through hoops and hurdles to just kind of get a little bit farther ahead for this. So now at this point, Trick Williams comes out. I'm not going to lie, maybe just a little bit more prematurely. Comes out, tries to do his thing, drops Grayson Waller, drops Austin Theory, but then he gets dropped by Oberfemi. And this is the finish right here. Now, we want to talk about a couple things that's going on with my man Trick Williams. we want to talk about a couple things that's going on with my man Obafemi. I mean, to be honest, Oba's killing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this man's been on a run. I mean, when I see this man Obafemi out here, I said, man, did they not make one of the best choices? Now, to be honest, I hate seeing Eddie Thorpe. He annoys me. I think him kind of putting himself in the title picture was a little annoying. But at the same time, I said to myself, well, maybe Sean did a good idea of making him a heel. Because before, when he was a face, I said, oh, okay, whatever. I didn't really care too much about him. But then when he made him a heel, I said, no, he really annoys me. It's not even just his face expression. It's everything about him.
Right.
I can't stand him. But I think it works. It works for him. But when I'm looking at Trick Williams, I'm like, man, he still looks strong, even though he lost this to Obafemi. Because in some ways, it's not to say that Obafemi didn't beat Trick Williams clean, but in some ways, it was a little bit of a mix-up, a little bit of a mess-up, to a point where it said to ourselves, well, maybe Obafemi can still beat Trick Williams clean, but we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, at this point, what I'm not understanding is how my girl Ava, the Pebble, is giving, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory a title shot. Now, to be honest, if you ask me, don't do this like how y'all did my man Montez. Don't do that.
Hey.
Because y'all did that to my man Tez. I ain't even gonna talk about that, but y'all did that to him. So don't do that to my man Trick. Now I don't know why Trick gotta go through the hoops and hurdles when he just lost it. So I mean, in my opinion, I would assume you should get a rematch. But it's okay. Hey, look, the Pebble does what she does, and she's the final boss on NXT from what the final boss has said.
Yeah, that's what he said. The final boss said she the boss, and that's what it is. Now, it's funny because you mentioned him not getting a title shot, because Roxanne, who whined and complained, got her title shot. Like she now, it may still change. They may still add him in the fold before then. But as of right now, you look at it and it was like, all right, Trick probably deserves to get this one-on-one, and maybe they're trying to stretch it a little bit. But Roxanne got hers. I mean, Trick Willie, why doesn't he get his shot? I mean, he and he say that he's been a little Ava did say he's been a little reckless in the locker room and doing some stuff, doing a little too much. And then Ava looked like she's stressed out. Let's talk about how Ava is right now, because the locker room is running her crazy. William Regal needs to come and help her just a little bit. Calm that thing down just a little bit. But and I will say this real quick, this outside of this, all the Ava haters out there, yes, you talk about it because she got the job because of her dad, but how many people in this world have gotten jobs because of parents or nepotism? It doesn't matter,
It don't matter.
I think she's done a solid job. I'm not gonna say she's the best all time. I will even say Vicky Guerrero was probably better than her, but but she's not terrible, but I think it's just people have this way about how she got the role or whatever. Okay, that's fine and dandy, those are the Bronny haters out there, the same dream.
Yeah.
But no, Oba right now has done amazing. And it's funny, when last WrestleMania, I remember we were all together and we were talking about just like where he was going to be, like where he was coming to be, the wrestler he was coming to be, and just to see where he is from that point to where he is now is amazing, but it's well deserved. I mean, this guy screams WWE superstar. He's got the look, no Diddy, the body, everything. I mean, this dude, when you see him, he looks like a professional wrestler. He looks like everything he can do to you hurts. He just has it. Some people just have it. He has it. He's got a chance to be
the clown.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
not talking to clown. He has everything that it needs to be done to be great. So I'm excited to see what that happens. Man, Vengeance in DC in a couple weeks. I might have to, we'll see. But NXT has been cooking. I love everything they got going on there. You spoke about the women's division. We see what they're doing on a weekly basis. And the great thing about it is, I feel like they every now and then they'll pop up with a new, like, I saw Kilani and Miss Parker kind of going at it a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's just like so many different elements. We saw Stephanie Valkyria. She came out there and looked at the North American women's champion and looked at her like they ready to scrap. Julia's the new women's champion, and her and Bailey. That I love the fact they brought Bailey back down to kind of help build her up. And kind of make that match a little special with the great Bailey. There's just so many great storylines. A lot of people call NXT Women's Division the best women's division in all of wrestling, and it's hard for me not to at least think that they have, if not, or at least on the potential front, is right there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about NXT. It's definitely growing strong as a third brand. And one other person I want to give props to before I go back to you. And I never thought I'd say this out loud, but Ethan Page has been. Wow. Ethan Page has been. Surprisingly, I said, "Okay, Ethan, you're kind of turning me into a fan." I wasn't too keen on him at first. I didn't hate him. I thought he's, but the way they're kind of working his angle, like to rebuild him, but keep him on the path, but rebuild him in a different form. I love the way they're doing that. Shawn Michaels. Chef's kiss. Come on, shout out to our guy. Give him the chef's hat. They're killing it. Killing it right now. I love everything that they've got going on, and there's so many different elements, brother. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
No, it is, man. It is. I think one of the biggest things. I mean, we talked about with the women's division. I remember even before when we was talking about Kalani, I was like, well, we're gonna have Kalani on there. I said, well, if she needs that edge, the person she needs to have that rivalry with is Jada Parker. We talked about this months ago, and it was crazy now that we're seeing it. I said, oh, this really is cooking up to look good. And I'm loving what they're doing with Kalani, especially what they're doing with her, especially with this whole, she's going like on a heel turn. And it's like, you know what? It's starting to work.
It's working.
Like, this is working. This is going good.
They slowly did it. They slowly did it because when it first started happening, and they was like, "Hey, calm down." He's like, "Yo, tell me what." I was like, "Okay, Kalani but she got a right to be upset, man. They lost her title. She's not the one I thought it was going to turn heel, though. I still think so. Yeah. I know I said a couple months ago, but I still think so. Ruka will be the one. And when it does happen, you're gonna be like, "Wow." I didn't see
that. What's crazy? If it happens with Soul, it's because of her and Zarya.
Yeah.
But see, even with Kalani, I think it was like we did slowly see it because it was just after her losing the title. Then it was like in the background, you see her trying to get the rematch, trying to find a way to get the title back.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Then it was just like, oh, people stopped her from having getting the title rematch.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is really working for her. And it's just seeing the growth. I'm like, you know what? Nobody's out here doing it like Lonnie. No,
yeah, man. Hey, but look,
out here killing it. It's Lonnie, boy, Lonnie time.
It's Lonnie time. But that's why I love it, man. Like NXT, just imagine what this was 3 years ago when it was 2.0. Like it was like we didn't know. We thought it was over. We were crying inside. We were hurt because of the greatness that we knew initially had came from it, and it's back there. I'm mad enough to say that where they are right now is in a really good place. They're in a as a brand, they're in a really good place. And at times they're better than SmackDown, and at times they're better than Raw. It just really depends on the week and how's it going. But they're really, all three shows are truly competing, for everybody's attention now. And I remember when NXT was getting blown up by AEW on a weekly basis. That ain't the case no more. That ain't the case no more. Like NXT is either winning those weeks or it's right. They're like neck and neck. It's not like it used to be. And so that's a great thing for WWE as a whole, but great thing for NXT as a brand. Like Shawn Michaels, those guys down there, William Regal, I know he's behind the scenes down there, the Pebble, they're killing this. They are killing this. So shout out to NXT, man.
They really are, man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, as a whole, I think every part of their division, even like all the champions, and what I'm loving too, even seeing the change of the champions have already altered so many storylines that we're seeing on NXT.
Yeah,
like everything is just changing like within itself, and it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's been a really nice thing to see. I want to throw this comment up here real quick from one of our listeners from the Not Bland show, my man D Bland. He says, I've been really paying attention to NXT as much. So he's been on the NXT bandwagon. And he says Ethan was good in AEW, but I'm glad that he is getting his shot to show who he is. So I think we all kind of agree with that, D. That's my man DJ Bland on the Not Bland show.
Okay.
So thanks for popping in, brother. Thanks for
Hey,
popping
all
in.
right, yeah. No, I agree. I think a lot of people felt that way, especially with him on AEW. Some people felt like, he kind of did almost everything. He ran his time. Some people felt like he was very underutilized on AEW. So it was, and I know we talked about it before. The whole thing with, sometimes when people, when they go from AEW to NXT, sometimes you don't see people get that. They don't really climb that to get that championship. But now it's like a lot of stuff has changed. We've seen a lot of those things, just those habits and stuff break apart because, we see Ethan Page, you become NXT champion. Now we have even seen my man Lexus King as a Heritage Cup championship. So this is great. I think, to see some people move from brand to brand and still thrive, I think is the best thing. But yeah, Ethan Page is definitely killing it though.
It's that's why I said it surprised me. But I was just like, then he broke out the rapping skills a couple months ago. I said, this guy has it. Like that, some people just have that. Some people just have it. And I don't know if he'll ever be world champion on the main level, but he's definitely U.S. title, Intercontinental title material when that time comes. Like he has that. I'm not saying he couldn't go higher, but at least at that minimum, he has that. Yeah. The man can talk in the ring. He's got a little bit of everything. It's a good deal.
He does. I love the creativity he gives. Man, I remember seeing him on Chris Van Vliet not too long ago. And he was even just talking about just like the title one he was just doing just in general and just how much freedom they was kind of giving him, just the leeway. So it was good to just even know that even him having that title and just having that title and that he had, that even with just having that leeway, a whole lot more he can do. So I love seeing it. The whole, just like you said, the rap song, crazy. And I think even with the whole thing, I think even right now, this whole rivalry he's got with my man, the young OG, Javon Evans. I think that's even good. That boy's getting bouncy. I mean, that man's mouth is bloody. That's all it is. It's a bloodbath. And I ain't talking JR. But it's crazy, man. Like, yeah. I mean, but I like it. I think it was Javon Evans was first, then it was Cedric Alexander. Then it was I don't know why I can't think of his name, but he was from NXT Level Up. And I thought that was interesting. I mean, that match didn't last too long. Not at all. But you know who else I think has been also improving? I'll even see my man Wes Lee. I think even him.
Yeah, that's actually a good call.
With the group, with Tyson and I think Tyrone. I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! I said, hold on, what is this? Wes Lee out here walking all slow and smooth. I said, I see what it is. You get your black version of Authors of Pain.
They done cut my man hair, and he done cut his hair, and he does have a different swag. I never thought I would say this. We talked about how boring him and Ricochet were right here. And shout out to Ricochet, because Ricochet's actually
killing it.
He's doing some good stuff right now. So the two guys we trashed about a couple months ago when we was last on, we trashed them bad. They're starting to who would have knew they starting to kind of creep up. But when Wesley got slapped by Trick Williams, first of all, I laughed continuously.
He sold that. He
sold it. And I'm like, this is good. And this just tells you, when you've got the greatest showman of all time in Shawn Michaels leading the way and teaching these young, superstars how the business works, you can definitely see his leadership has really it's shown. Everything that he's doing for that brand, it is showing, it is shining. And I think Wesley is just another example of that. Where we thought he was a couple months ago, he's a completely different monster now. He's cooking.
He's cooking, man. He's cooking. He's cooking well a lot, man. I mean, even just seeing just again, I'm like, man, even just some tag team that I was like, oh, this don't work out. But he made it work with two, with a tag team and a guy that was you didn't think could have worked. Right. But now that you're seeing it, it's oh, this definitely works out perfectly.
It does.
And it's everybody has a place. And I love seeing that. I think that's one of my biggest things, seeing with groups, factions, where everybody, with the whole group, it fits and it works for everybody's like character, or just for that, like that role, like everybody has something where it fits and it works. Like, I love it. I
Yep,
love it. I
it's
love it.
been
Hate to
great.
see people in the I hate to see people out of the mix. So when I see somebody when I see a bunch of people, everybody's just got a unison, just a unit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
And I ain't talking G unit.
yo, but it's the thing. Even like the people that you seen that are kind of out of the mix, they've been like slowly creeping on TNA and doing some good things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people thought Cora Jade, when she came back, would probably be doing a little bit more. But well, guess what? She's in the title picture over at TNA now, and she's done some good work over at TNA.
Ariana Grace too.
Ariana Grace, she's sending Dolph Ziggler and his brother and
Nick and Ryan,
Nick and Ryan. All I can think about is Joe Henry's video. Joe Henry.
She's sending them to NXT.
Yep.
For the to face off for the titles.
Yeah.
But her and Santino are there, and I love that. The father and daughter thing is great.
Yeah, it's been good elements. That's why I said, like, even if there's like, they kind of got a place when they don't have a place. So it's been good so far.
It has. It really has. And speaking of TNA, it also makes me wonder, since Jordan Grace went crazy. Also, shout out to her. And even seeing her, and it seems like she's maybe giving a farewell to TNA to possibly go to WWE. Does not surprise me, since we have seen her in the last couple of Royal Rumbles. I think it was like, what was it, last year? I don't know if it was the year before as well.
She was in last year, and then she had the nice program at the beginning part of the year. She faced against Roxanne, and so she's gotten familiar with the place a little bit.
Yeah. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if she does pop up in the Royal Rumble tonight. That would not surprise me at all, especially if her being debuted as a WWE, just getting a contract.
Yeah.
So
even though
that would not shock me.
Even though she says she's at her mother's birthday party in Texas, that's what she says. But we'll see. We'll see tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's not like it's not like you can still take a flight and not make it there. Because it's still early in the day.
Yeah, WWE's got private jets. They
know what to do. They know what to do. They good. They good. But we talked about NXT for a good little minute. Now it's really time to talk about one of the best parts of the end of the week, Friday Night SmackDown. It's crazy. Since this whole thing with Raw going to Netflix, and now we've seen with NXT going to the CW. Now we know about SmackDown being on USA. And now they went from 2 hours to also 3 hours of heat. 3 hours of fire. 3 hours of nonstop storytelling that just keeps getting better. Look, I'm not even mad that they made SmackDown 3 hours. It was speculated for a while, okay, if they were going to go to 3 hours. Because since we've seen Raw go to 2, they said, well, what's going to happen? We're going to have SmackDown go to 3? Yeah, they did. Now we got both shows going to 3 hours. Are you upset? I'm not. Do I care? No. Why? Why wouldn't I? Honestly, every hour, I am completely up and awake and alert. Because everything that is going on, I feel like I have to pay attention, whether it's stuff that's going on in the background, or whether it's even during the commercial breaks. There is something that's constantly going on with these shows here. But one of the biggest things that we really need to talk about and discuss is my man, the man with the magic boot, the man that they call the Samoan werewolf. Yeah, y'all know who it is. Hell. Yeah, you know what it is. Hell. Okay? Look. You want to talk about somebody that's killing it right now. This man has been going crazy these last month. Okay? You want to talk about these promos. Killing it. Just walking back. First of all, saying, I love you solo. On the leash. Well, guess what? Jacob Fatu is now off the leash. He done said it. This is a completely established. Now, he comes out there, interrupts Damian Priest. Damian Priest out there says whatever. Jacob says, look, I know where you're from. We both from the same thing. He even gave him his flowers, gave him his roses, told him, you've done a lot more than a lot of these suckers that's in the back. I said, okay.
Suckers.
That's what he said. He said these suckers. I said, all right. I said, who was this, Booker T? I said, okay. Gave him his flowers. Damian Priest says, we from the same spot and whatever. And Jacob Fatu says, you can twist and braid up your hair all you want, but you still got to twist it. I mean, if we're not saying that this man ain't dropping bars, I don't know what else is. Okay? Look. Then he comes out there and he tells them, the way I'm seeing it. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He said, the way I'm seeing it, me and Tama Tonga, we got this on lockdown. You know what I mean? 5-2.
I love it. I love it. I love
this
it.
Man. I mean, we talk about aura. We talk about storyline. We talk about how good is this getting. I mean, we want to talk about anything with this whole thing, with the storyline, with the bloodline. This is almost like a side quest storyline in a way, with just Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Because Solo's just disappeared. Roman is nowhere to be found until tonight. We haven't seen Roman since he's won the Ula Fala. So now it's almost to the point where, well, Bronson Reed, he's injured. Tonga Loa, don't see him. Why? He's injured. Jimmy Uso's out here having these fights with Carmelo Hayes. Whatever.
Come on, Big Jim.
I'm not mad about the big brother. Okay, I like what Jimmy's doing now. This is
it's
little
cool.
thing. It's a nice little side quest for him too. It's like he's building himself up too. Pause. That might have sounded crazy.
It's okay.
But still, in a lot of ways, I'm loving what they're doing with everybody in the bloodline. But specifically with Jacob Fatu, I mean, this man is coming out every week. You got Tama Tonga out here hitting with the yeah. He's going crazy. Okay. The crowd is loving it. Then you got Jacob Fatu, I mean, killing it. Hell. Just going crazy. Hell. I don't know what it is when he hits stats.
I don't know. But look, mouth salivating, no Diddy, but it's all over the place. Like my man is just drooling, and it don't even make a difference. And all you could be like, you in the room, like, yeah, you tell him, Jacob. That's all you can say.
I was smiling. I couldn't stop smiling last night from just seeing the promo that was being cut. I said, oh my God, everything about what this man is doing is gold. I mean, we can even talk about Saturday night's main event. How we came out, killed it. And even the night before that, last week on SmackDown. Hell, that man was snapping. Hell, that man was rapping. Hell, that man was spitting bars. And in my opinion, I think this is one of the best things I've seen this man do. I loved it, man. This guy has got it all. And honestly, I love just even seeing Tama Tonga, like, even his work, just everything as a whole, what they got going on, keep it going. I really just want to see so much of what Jacob Fatu is doing. He said he's off the leash now. He said he's a big blood. This man's got so many monikers of names already.
That's crazy.
I swear he can have so many shirts. He can have so many shirts already. I can see it now, man. He's got a future that is so bright because of what he's carrying on there, man. So, I mean, we want to talk about Saturday night's main event. Even with that man was going crazy. He killed Braun Strowman.
Man.
He killed him. The man had murdered him on television.
Somebody stop it, please. It was like, nope.
That Samoan werewolf did a mauling. That was a mauling. That's what I seen on there. And you know what was crazy? And when I thought about it, and I seen Jacob Fatu, and they just kept saying, one more time. I thought to myself, man, if only Bronson Reed was out here, how many tsunamis we would have got after those moonsaults from seeing Jacob Fatu would have been crazy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like, first of all, the fans are unhinged. Like, let's talk about these fans. Y'all, I thought y'all cared about Braun Strowman, but you obviously don't. You know, I thought you cared about Seth Rollins, but guess what? Obviously, you don't.
You
That's
don't.
because y'all was talking like, kill him. I'm like, but I ain't gonna lie to you, low key love it because that's low. That's like a little bit of that attitude era fan base without the signs. That's the only thing that we're missing from right now. And shout out to the U.S. crowd. I will say shout out to the U.S. crowds. They haven't been over the seas crowds, but they've been a lot better lately. So yeah, kudos to y'all. Now, Jacob Fatu, man, this man is a masterpiece. And I'm going to give a shout out to our guy, Kenny Omega. Kenny in the building. Kenny has been talking about Jacob Fatu for years. He said, he kept telling us, he said, look, when he gets there, you're going to see it. And he kept telling us.
He kept saying it.
He kept saying it. And now we are seeing the gold that is Jacob Fatu. And it's just working right now. SmackDown has been good. Him and LA Knight kind of going at it. Damian Priest, who I want to give a shout out to because when watching SmackDown, he was cooking in that match. The crowd was feeding off of him. And this is another way I got to give a shout out to the future, Hall of Famer or Hall of Famer / already Hall of Famer, but individual Hall of Famer. That thing. Shout out to Triple H because what they've been able to do with Priest, I didn't think they could do. When Priest got that title run was kind of bland. It had his moments here and there. They tried to make it, relevant as much as possible. But it's what they did after the fact that has made Damian Priest a top guy in WWE. The smartly, combining him and Rhea together to kind of get that mix going, kind of get things then, the Terror Twins, that worked out perfectly. And even after they split, yes, Rhea went and got her championship back, but Damon has done really good work in pretty much every match he's been in since that time frame. And I'm like, okay, this is what they needed from him. He had the rematch with Gunther. It didn't go his way, but still he's gotten stronger. The fans were with him. And that's the biggest thing. They've been able to find a way to win the fan base. They like Damian Priest. And I didn't think they could do it. But I have to stop doubting Triple H because he keeps proving me wrong. Every time I'm like, there ain't no way they can make that happen. No, they've been able to do it. So I wanted to give at least some flowers to Damian Priest because he has done his thing lately. And so, yeah, he's been killing. He's been killing.
He really has, man. I say definitely improvement. I think him now being on SmackDown, I think this is going to be really good for him because I think now it gets him away from that whole Judgment Day thing. I feel like it's been kind of hanging over him for a while. So I think now seeing him on SmackDown, I think this gives him a fresh new storyline. And of course, when you starting off your first debut back on going on SmackDown with the werewolf, going crazy with the man with the magic boot. I think at that point, I think you're starting off hot. Shoot, man. Look, I know for real, man. I have been just ecstatic seeing Jacob Fatu just going insane, but really seeing Damian Priest really just stepping up, doing so much more. But honestly, another notable mention we really got to talk about. We got to talk about Tiffy Time. We got to talk about what Tiffany Stratton's been doing. Her being the new champion. I'm feeling it. I'm liking so far what they're doing with it. And I think her being the champion so far right now is working. And it makes me wonder who really is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble because
it's tough.
It's very tough. And who would they even pick? We could also talk about Bayley. We could talk about Nia Jax. We could talk about possibly, maybe even Bianca Belair. Because in some way, shape, or form, I don't know what it is, but I keep thinking to myself, if Bianca Belair wins this, I don't know. I could see it. I would like it, but...
There's a couple ways they can go with this. Obviously, Charlotte is a glaring, shining beam that is out there. My thing is, we've seen Charlotte versus Rhea. So do you really want to see it again? Because
for a different title now.
For her, do you want to see that again? And I got a feeling that Andrade is on SmackDown, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that screams to me that it would be Tiffy time. If she wins, I see her going that route. They're going to keep the couples together. That's kind of what they do in WWE. They keep the couple, which is a cool thing. I shout out to them for that. They keep them in the same brand. So if that's the case, except for Tiffany and Luke, but they got to figure that out down the road. But if that's the case, then maybe they go Tiffy time here. Tiffy has done a really good job of playing her role the last couple of months because she's always been kind of an alpha female, and she took that step back when she was in the program or in the situation with Nia Jax, and now that she's gotten the title, we knew what was going to happen. Like, we're not dumb. We knew at some point the turn was going to happen, but they did a good job of lengthening it, make sure that it like kind of lasted a little bit, and she didn't just do it right away. And now, smartly, they brought Candice LeRae in to be the new henchman for Nia Jax, and it looks like she's going to probably get to be the first one to get this title shot, which I don't hate for Candice LeRae.
She deserves it.
She definitely deserves it. Now
that's Candy wrestling.
Yeah, we're still trying to get her. I feel like
off the ground.
Fans have not taken a liking to her the way I thought that they might have. And it could be just the way the direction of, the women's wrestling has been. And it's really tough right now because they do have some really tough starts. But this is a good chance for her. A really good chance for her, even with a loss, to really say, hey, man, she's definitely in title contention for the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title at some point. Like, she's got to get herself there. And I think she can do that here in the next couple of months. But yeah, Tiffy Time's been on point. They've done really good things on SmackDown. Like, it's WWE is clicking. Yeah. It is a beautiful thing when everybody is boom, 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 man. And it's the funnest. I know you agree. It's probably the funnest funnest time I've had in wrestling since probably early 2000s. Yeah. When Eddie Guerrero and Benoit, so we said Chris Benoit's name.
That's right.
Chris Benoit and all those guys were in there killing it. That's probably bad to use Benoit and killing it after that. I'm sorry, y'all. That
was crazy.
We'll cut the tape. But that group and seeing it like that the early parts, it was amazing. Then that was a different era. A lot of the younger generation, that was their core era, and that was the last time I thought it was really good. And right now, it's really good. And the people like, oh, you still watch that? If you weren't a fan or you were a fan, this is a good time to come back. So if you're a wrestling fan, it's a good time to come back. It's hot right now.
They're going crazy.
Even AEW is stepping up, and I'm like, what? AEW is even stepping up a little bit.
It's so many brands right now. It's like AEW's stepping up, TNA is stepping up.
Yes.
I mean,
my girl is back, baby.
Going crazy.
It's Timeless up in his mother. Is she back? Man, they had me worried for a while. I'm like, yo, man. But she was killing it.
Honestly, killing it. That whole thing was insane. I love what they did with her because honestly, it's like they
my greatest performance ever.
She said she kept making it seem like it wasn't her. She like she just couldn't. I said, what is Tony doing? I said, this is something. I said, what is it? And man, I love it. I love it. Hey, even shout out to Mercedes Moné. Yeah. She's been killing it as well. 4 titles. I can't be mad. The girl's been putting on 5-star matches every freaking time.
Yeah.
I am completely a fan of the CEO. You got me.
She's been killing it. Yeah, I'm proud. They still got a ways to go, but they're on a good track.
Yeah,
they're on a good track. If you're going to be the second best company in the world, you got to show it, and they're starting to show it. So shout out to AEW. So I'll give them
AEW, man. I shout out to y'all. Gotta give them some love, man. They've been going crazy, and I think they're making history too, especially with them streaming on Max and TBS.
Yeah,
because also. There's people on the West Coast, like my man Drew does our music for the Xclusive Knights Podcast. Him being on the West Coast, he says he always has to wait. So he said this being on Max is like perfect for him, so he doesn't have to wait and he can actually watch. Oh,
so
they
show so once it comes on, they can watch it right away.
Right on,
that's
on Max.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right
awesome.
as it's happening, like in that time. So that's all. Like, that's good. That's like the best. I really think we are in the future golden, like platinum era of like wrestling, where this is what we're seeing, wrestling being streamed and just having different like areas and ways to watch wrestling. Like people, I think we're missing almost that part of how crazy this is getting for the future of wrestling.
Yeah, it's in a really good place. Like if you're not a wrestling fan or want to become a wrestling fan, this is the time. This is the time.
This is the time. It's good and great. Well, y'all already know we are now getting close to that time. We talked about everything that's going on within these weeks. everything that was going on within this week. So we got to really talk about what's going on today with the Royal Rumble. Man, tell you, man, when it comes to the Royal Rumble, man, this is looking like it's about to cook up and shape up. And I ain't talking a haircut. It's looking like it's about to go really well. Because when we talk about a lot of things going on in this Royal Rumble with this card, okay, one of the first ones that we got that's going on right now, we know about the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. But one match that we need to talk about, what we got? The tag team match. Now, before we really kind of break down into this match here particularly, I am pondering the question of where are the Street Profits? Now, some people might be asking the same question, and maybe not. If you're not, now you should be. Because with everything that's been going on with this whole storyline here, the only thing I can think of is the Street Profits coming back tonight and interrupting this match and causing a DQ. Multiple reasons. We have not seen the Profits in a while. They've gotten screwed over a few times already within this storyline. They were told somebody, what was it? They were told it was Santos Escobar's group that jumped them, but it was really pretty deadly. Then all of a sudden, when they have a title shot, now they get attacked. Then we haven't seen the Profits for weeks. Don't hear nothing from them. So now at this point, I'm expecting to see the Profits pop up tonight. You heard it here first from Eric Knight, man. That's what I really got for that.
Yeah, I mean, look. Here's the thing. The Street Profits are one of the best tag teams, and that's if there's a project that the WWE really needs to work on. I know we talked about this earlier in the year. And that's fixing the tag team division. Like I feel like that's something that has to be fixed all around. Even though Bianca and Naomi have had the belts for a while, which is good because the women's titles usually switch hands quickly. They really need to go. They really need to go and give NXT women's tag team division. That needs to happen because they got way too many women down there that are talented and they need to be able to have that element. But I do like the fact that the women's tag team champions will go to NXT, have a great match with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. That was a great match, by the way. Shout out to them.
It was. It was.
That's the type of stuff that we need in the tag team division and to kind of build tag teams back up. What I will say is if this happens tonight, I'm hoping that it does. But the thing I need to happen, and as much as I love Angelo Dawkins, I need Montez Ford.
Come on, man.
To go single. I needed to happen. I just want to throw that out there. And even if they do come back tonight, I needed to happen at some point, man. Like there's too much talent there that I feel like is being it's wasted. Let me not be nice about it. It's being wasted. Hopefully, and I hate it because he doesn't deserve that. He deserves so much more. But this match tonight, I think Gargano Incorporated will, him and I think DIY will go on and retain here. Shout out to the Motor City Machine Guns for being able to come in, and they haven't skipped a beat since they've been in WWE. They had to, they weren't supposed to get the titles initially, from what I hear. And they had to kind of step in and they got the titles, right off the bat. And then they, as the time they had it, they did a good job holding on to it. This storyline has been a solid one, mentor and mentee and all that stuff. So it's been good. So this would be a nice way to cap this one off. But I think DIY will win this one.
Yeah, agreed, definitely. One big thing I love that what they've been doing with DIY, like this new version. And again, like what Seth Rollins was saying, we're just seeing different parts of people's character. Specifically for Tommaso Ciampa, I feel like I'm seeing parts of the Blackheart.
Yeah.
When I see him grab that title the certain way he's doing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Blackheart. And then when I'm seeing Johnny Gargano, I'm saying this is like the way Johnny, which again was a great phase for Johnny when he was a heel, and it was him, Andy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, of course, and Austin Theory, and all four of them come out. Man, he used to come out just be just obnoxious and just dumb. And I said, this is a side of Johnny that I like. And that's what I'm seeing from both of them on this side of seeing DIY. But yeah, man, I fully believe that the Street Profits have got to make a comeback tonight. I'd be shocked if they didn't. But again, tonight has to be the night because again, they have not been around for weeks now, almost maybe a month and a half, almost I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been so long since we've seen them, and I'm just like, I kept saying every week, I said, where are the Street Profits? Where are they at?
Even B-Fan, she done went out there and started. I'm happy for her too. She's been out there, wrestling, getting her thing going on. Which, I'm glad to see that happening. So like, she's like, well, I guess I got to move on. Bobby left me. Look, Bobby left me. The Street Profits left me. I guess I gotta work out here. Hit Roll. Look, Hit Roll left me. Everybody keep leaving me. Look, I don't know. That's a bad sign, B-Fab. Like I like you. I think you're great. But all these black men leaving your life is a bad deal. That's something ain't right.
Good. It's ain't good. I don't like it for B-Fab, man. I know I said before, but it's like now I'm liking what she's doing. She's good in the ring.
Yep.
She's actually good on the mic. So it's like,
she's developed well. Like she's done a really good job, and I just like that they're showcasing her now. So shout out to her. Shout out to B-Fab.
Shout out to B-Fab, man. Yeah, man. She's been killing them. So the next match that we know is to come, obviously. Whoo, boy, this ladder match, man. I'll tell you. Cody and Kevin, and honestly, to see Kevin Owens with this winged belt, oh my God.
It looked pretty.
It's crazy. I mean, and Cody, honestly, is showing us phases and just phases of the American Nightmare. I'm telling you right now, we know sooner or later, by whenever it's coming, we know it's coming, pause. He is going to be heel. Sooner or later, he is going to be heel, and we're really going to see the American Nightmare. Now, if y'all don't know about the American Nightmare, if you think this man just had that because that was just the opposite of what his dad was, yeah, and no, okay? Because when you talk about the American Nightmare, yeah, this is the same man that went toe-to-toe with Kenny Omega for control over the Bullet Club, okay? This is the same man that took a bottle of water in a fan's face and spat it in their face, okay? Yeah, we know Cody's all, love the kids, all that. Yeah, but it's the same man that's going crazy. Don't forget about this, man. American Nightmare's got that name, that moniker for a reason. So beware. But to be honest, I wonder to see what's going to honestly happen within this match. Will we possibly see Sami Zayn? Will he come around? Will we possibly see Kevin Owens may win this? Will he win this? And if he does, what does that mean for Cody? I don't know, man. This one's like a toss-up. And this storyline's been so good. I'm good with either way.
Yeah. Shout out to CM Punk. I like to give shout outs if you don't know by now. Shout out to CM Punk because CM Punk said something last night I didn't realize. And when he said that Kevin Owens was 0-5 in title matches at Royal Rumble, I was like, what? Is that a thing? Yeah. And I guess he's lost. I think he lost to Roman twice. And so it's happened.
I think every time was Roman. Honestly, I think every time was Roman Reigns.
That's crazy. 0-5 for title matches is an insane number. So, I mean, going 0-6 would be really rough, but it would shock us. It would shock us if Kevin Owens won this match tonight. But he is a guy that can carry this title to WrestleMania, and I would be okay with it because he can handle himself in the ring all the way around. It's like his last name in wrestling. He's just he's been killing the game lately, and I can't wait to see what will happen in this ladder match. Now, Sammy getting it interfering will be interesting. If that does happen, that'll definitely give us some undertones, maybe heading into the Rumble. Because hey, let's say that Owens wins this match, Sammy's obviously going to be in the Rumble, and that tells me Cody's going to be in the Rumble. He's gonna come in at 30. It'll be something like that if that ends up happening. Now, with Cody, you talked about how great he is. He's been as a heel. I will say this: if he goes heel, this would be Hogan-esque heelish type thing. Because here's the thing: he's been presented to the WWE fans. Yes, not you can't count 2015, 2013, 14, all that stuff. That's a whole different Cody Rhodes. That's dashing Cody. That's my dude though. Oh, the smoking mirror. Oh. All right, that's the ADD kicking in. Leave me alone, y'all. But with that, it could be Hogan-esque, not maybe Hogan, but Hogan-esque, because that's the same thing we thought we could have got with Cena if he had turned, and they actually did the heel turn.
Yeah,
the WWE fans have been giving Cody Rhodes since he's gotten back as the face of the company. Children love him. It's just like if he turns heel, the hearts that will break. If he turns heel, and it also puts WWE in the spot was like, yes, Roman. You can't make Roman Cody's type of heel. You have to have that heel that everybody loves. I mean, that face that everybody loves. That's what Bianca Belair is right now, if you ask me. And I think that's why they won't turn her heel just yet. They may still do it, but they haven't turned it because of how much she's loved by the little girls out there. They absolutely love Bianca. It's the same thing with Cody. And I just got this feeling that when they do when it does happen, because it's going to happen, I just feel it. It's going to be Hogan-esque because kids are going to cry. It's just going to be bad all the way around for fans of Cody out there. I'm talking about people burning their Cody jackets and cry. I mean, it's going to be bad. Like, I'm talking about parents calling WWE, telling me, why did you do this? My kid's been crying all night. It's going to be that type of stuff that when it does happen. So, but yes, I'm intrigued to see how this one goes. Like, the only two regular matches other than the Rumbles, and both matches have these, good storylines kind of heading into it. And that's what kind of sets this up to be a really good Rumble. But I think, Cody should win this match. But that element of Sammy being there, you just never know.
You just don't know, because they have intertwined that so much with him, and then him being in the Rumble, and then him talking with it. It's crazy. It's so much. It's so much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, I mean, then we can even talk about the men's Royal Rumble, which insanely is just super stacked. I mean, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's a possibility that even if Kevin Owens does lose, he could be in the Royal Rumble. If he loses that match with Cody Rhodes, I would not be surprised if he does pop up in the Royal Rumble. And maybe he does win. Who knows? But I'm not 100%. Honestly, just like we were saying before, I'm still thinking possibly, maybe Sami Zayn. Maybe CM Punk. Maybe Drew McIntyre. Maybe John Cena. And maybe Jey Uso.
Yeet.
And of course, it might even be the one and only Tribal Chief.
Yeah, it's about 8 guys. I'll even throw, and I know it's a longer shot, but I'll throw LA Knight in there because I feel like LA Knight is one of those guys that if he got it, they could work going to Mania. I don't know if they're ready to make him a world champion yet, but he could be that guy. They got a couple of people. I mean, I'll even and it's a long shot as well. But Damian Priest is another guy that if he made another run, I think he's starting to gain enough traction that he could. I don't think he's there yet, but he's on the rise. all rise. So I just I kind of see it, kind of working his magic a little bit there. It's a toss up to me tonight, man. Like the men's Rumble is so hard to call. Like I said, if I had to choose now, I'm saying Punk, but there's a part of me that says that Jey Uso is the guy, and it all really depends on, to me, how they want to approach Elimination Chamber. Because the part of me that says, okay, if Jey Uso wins, then obviously it's going that Elimination Chamber is going to be World Championship heavy. I mean, not World Championship heavy, but WWE title heavy. And if it's Punk or because Punk already said he's going after Cody, And if it's Punk, then I feel like it's going to be more world championship heavy. And we're talking about, Drew, Seth, and all of those type of guys going, Jay Uso, like they all will be in that elimination chamber match. And to me, that feels like that would be the better elimination chamber match to get you set up for Mania. But that's just me thinking a little outside of the box there. But if I had to give it, I got to go Punk. Punk seems like the guy, but it's a toss up. It's a true toss up.
It is. But I feel you on CM Punk, man. I mean, he's been cutting some promos where I'm thinking
he's cooking.
Oh yeah, he could be the one that's gonna take this all the way. Pause. Because when I think about just for that first one that he did, when he was saying he'll throw anybody out, I said, he might. I said this might be his to win.
Yeah, he talked about
Hogan.
Be
his Rumble. Yeah,
I was cracking up. I said, that Hogan line was great. Everybody hates Hulk Hogan.
Everybody
hates Hulk Hogan.
Everybody. And it's like, I mean, it's so much. It's just like, who could possibly really win this? It's a big toss-up. But another big toss-up, honestly, the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, the Women's is another toss-up.
Because when we talk about the women's match, the Women's Royal Rumble, I mean, who could I even say could be a possible? Charlotte Flair. Maybe Liv Morgan. It might be Nia Jax. It might be even Bianca Belair. But also, it could be Bayley. But my main pick, and I'm not even going to say my main pick, who I think it could be for a return, and I'm going to call it because we've seen her on the promo for Raw on Netflix, but we haven't seen her. We haven't seen her since then. The man, Becky Lynch.
I'll cry inside.
I would not be surprised if she makes her return tonight. If we hear a whoa.
God, why do I dislike Becky Lynch so bad as a wrestler persona? I think she's a great wrestler.
It might not be bad now since she's been gone for so long. Who knows? Becky has reinvented herself a couple of times.
Well, I need her to reinvent herself because the man thing is to me, I needed to go a different route this time. I don't know what it is, but I just needed to go a different route this time. But I agree. She'll be back there tonight. I'm pretty sure of it. I got a feeling the TNA Women's Champion will probably be in there because that's become a tradition now. So, and is it Malkovich or Manovich? I'm not going to try to destroy it. But I'm pretty sure she'll be in there tonight. And I will say, I think like Lash Legend will be in there tonight. I think that they'll have
Carmen Petrovich. I'm sorry. I was like, who is he saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think when it comes to NXT, I
don't know. I can't say her name for nothing.
I think if it comes to NXT, who I would say Roxanne Perez. She's made an appearance before. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised to see Cora Jade. I would hope to see my girl Ariana Grace. They don't give her enough grace, man. They need to show her more. That girl is entertaining. I've been saying this for so. Yeah. That girl's got it.
It runs in the family. It runs in the family for sure.
It does.
It runs in the family for sure.
But I think we would see definitely Jada Parker. I mean, just the year she's had last year, she's definitely gonna be there. Lola Vice, gotta see her. She's definitely gonna be there. Who else we might see? We might see Stephanie. We might see Lonnie.
Man, might see Lonnie.
I'm hoping to see Lonnie. I mean, we might even see Ruka.
Yeah, I think we see at least 10 NXT. Yeah. I think we see about 10 NXT people. Maybe like one,
Lash.
Maybe definitely one or two legends. Yeah, Lash is definitely in there.
Got to be in there because she's been making appearances on the main roster. Her and Jakara Jackson both been making appearances. So
I think we see one or two legends. Definitely AJ. I think AJ Lee's going to definitely be in there. But then there will be one. I got maybe one other legend. I can't think of nobody off top hand. I know last couple of years we've seen Lita, we've seen
Trish. Was Trish in there?
I think Trish was in there one year. We've seen
Michelle McCool.
McCool. She was in the crowd
so many times.
Yeah, she was in the crowd. Yeah, she was in the crowd. Came back in there. Low key though, I'm gonna throw a name out there. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would make my day. They should bring my girl Layla out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I love my wife. I'm gonna go through this out there right now. I love you, babe. But I had a crush on the former Miami Heat cheerleader like it was nothing. I was like, oh my God. I said that she was so beautiful, man. Like I had a Layla was my girl. So I know it's a long shot, but I'd be happy if she popped up tonight.
Maybe possibly, maybe we might even see Mickey James.
Yeah, Mickey James.
She might be another one.
Yeah, I think Mickey James is going in the Hall. You know, they got that new show that's coming out. Everybody on the show is Hall of Famers. She's a part of that show with the like the young contestants and trying to make it like a voice type thing for the WWE where they got the trainers. I think that this is going to be her year. I think she gets in with all this being, her husband being a part of SmackDown, being a GM. There's too many things that line up to say. I think she will be the second person that they announce as a Hall of Famer. It probably happened this week or maybe next week, but whenever, I think she's got to be next. I think they wait another year before we see Bray Wyatt or anything like that. I thought they might have done it this year, but I don't think they're going to overshadow him with Triple H. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they'll do him. They want him to get his own shine. So that may be a next year thing. I know I went off topic with that, but yeah,
no, not at all.
Yeah, but Mickey James, I could definitely see. I can see.
Yeah. I think there's so many possibilities we can really see from that women's Royal Rumble. I mean, honestly, I would not be surprised to see Jade Cargill pop back up. It's been a while, and honestly, she's been kind of saying stuff on social media.
She has been,
like since she got attacked. She's saying, "Oh, you sure?" Like when Bianca asked Naomi, when Bianca asked Naomi any updates, she said, "No, they haven't found anything." Jade is on there on social media saying, "You sure?"
Yeah, I saw that.
Possibly, what could be the thing that Jade Cargill might know that we don't? And I think people have been speculating that it was Naomi that attacked Jade.
Right.
So
if she comes out tonight, and once Naomi's in the ring, and she comes out tonight, and you see one of these like shock faces when Jade's music hit, we already know the deal. So that's something to watch out for. The women's Rumble is going to be another one, like I said, tough to call. If I had to choose, my gut says Charlotte because of just the way everything's kind of lining up for her. Becky would probably be my number 2 only because she's returning, and Becky Lynch she's been off since last May, and she's main evented multiple WrestleManias. I put Bianca at 3. I think Bianca's ready. She's done her job. They asked her to come in and be they didn't say it out loud, but they asked her to come in and help show Jade the way. They attached Jade to her hip to try to get her going and help her grow in a WWE ring. So shout out to Bianca for that. So I put her at 3. And then after that, to me, it really is just kind of a toss-up. I think those are the 3 women that, like, in my mind, I say, okay, they'll probably be one of the ones that win it. Because I've heard Bianca and Rhea as a potential Mania match. And that I wouldn't hate that at all. I wouldn't hate that at all. I don't think Bayley's gonna win it again. She got her time to shine. She got the title back. So yeah, I think it's those women. I don't think Jade's gonna win it. So I make sure I throw that out there too. I don't think Jade's ready for that yet. So
yeah, agreed. Definitely. I wouldn't mind even if Io.
I like Io, man.
She, it's so crazy. I feel like I always loved Io Sky, even when she was Io Shirai. And I think this year she's really been getting that big spotlight that's shown like how great she was. I felt like at WrestleMania 40, like night 2, it really showed like, yeah, this is why she's here. Like at WrestleMania, this is where she should be, like shown in a major spotlight. And I mean, since then, I'm like, man, I just love seeing her just work in the ring, and she's just so entertaining, man. So yeah, shout out to Io Sky. But yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it really is a toss-up. It can be anybody at this point. But yeah, definitely I wouldn't be mad about Bianca and Rhea, especially since people thought that was going to happen at WrestleMania 39.
Right.
So if we do see that happen this year, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, I mean, with point to Io, I got a chance to watch the match with her and Penta. Whew, boy, I watched it like before the show, and I
Yeah.
was just like, "This is great. This is amazing." When they were getting it in, it was absolutely amazing. The only thing I think with EO is just the language barrier. It unfortunately hurts the Japanese wrestlers when they get on the main roster. That's been or anybody that has that the accent. Unfortunately, if they have a heavy accent, it has really hurt in this generation. Their trip to the main roster, maybe except for Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke, even though I still think he should have got a title shot at some point, or like should have been world champion at some point, I should say. Even him, but now that he's kind of gone silent and he's just out there doing what he's doing, everybody's like, yeah, that's Shinsuke right there. That's my dude, though. So, and I think that's what hurts. Unfortunately, especially on the women's side, it definitely hurts him because you can see the barrier, and unfortunately, I think it's gonna. Julie, I think it's going to end up happening. So even though she speaks a little bit better English, I think it's unfortunately going to hurt her as well when she gets to the main roster. I hate it for them, but that's when you need to get that mouthpiece in there to help them out and make them great. But that's something that WWE's got to decide.
I definitely agree with you on that, but I think they've kind of been making up a little bit with that with some of their backstage promos. Because like when they do their promos, it's almost like they cut it in a way it's like an anime type thing. And I do like what they do, how they do that with the subtitles and how they kind of just let them just go in their full natural language. I love how they do that. But I do agree. I do think that is one thing that always kind of has always hindered anybody with an accent that goes into WWE. I never really understood that. I always thought, hey, if you're gonna go through all this trouble like getting them there, well, at this point, let's get them let's help them break this barrier
Yeah.
so we can make them better. But it's never ever happened. So I never understood it. But
Yeah, I think Oscar's the only one I think that kind of got away with it for the most part because she would say stuff and then she would giggle and laugh and everybody, Oscar, you so funny. But Oscar was able to do it.
yeah,
So it was
she's
just
another one who I think might be returning as well. I'm
I
not
forgot
sure if
about
she's
Oscar.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah,
if she's how long she's been injured
she's
for.
been gone for a hot minute. I think she got
Yeah,
hurt right around WrestleMania last year. So
yeah,
maybe she pops up. So yeah, the women's rumble, men's rumble, it's a toss up, brother.
that's a toss up.
Oh, also, all I know is I believe in Joe Hendry. I need that tonight. I need
Hey,
that.
shout out to I would not be. He's definitely got to be popping up.
Yeah.
The man is a champion now. The man has already had an appearance on NXT. So yes, I do believe,
Yes.
and I ain't talking Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
I do believe this man will be in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, I can't see him winning, but I do think he's definitely going to be
Oh,
popping up.
we forgot about Cena because Cena's technically in this mix as well.
Oh my
But
God, yeah.
but I will say this: I don't think Cena's going to win it. If he does win it, then that'll be a whole different thing. But if he does not win it, Joe Hendry will be the one to throw him out. I say that because he called him out a couple of weeks ago on oh shoot. Oh, well, I'm gonna have a Bully Ray busted open.
Yeah.
So he technically called him out. They was like, well, who would you want to face? And he was like, John Cena. And the way he said it, I'm like, So if he does throw anybody out tonight, I feel like it's gonna be Cena. I just throw that little tidbit in there and I just drop a little nugget. It could be wrong. I'm okay with it. Just toss it on there.
Never know. Could.
Never know.
It could. It
Never
could.
know.
Well, hey, we talked about a lot about what was going on. We talked about the 3 hours of fire, whether we was talking about Raw or SmackDown. We talked about the greatness of NXT, and then we also talked about what's going on tonight with the Royal Rumble. So we're gonna come back later on. We're gonna be back. We're gonna tell y'all what's going on. We're gonna give you our review on the Royal Rumble. So again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And also follow us on our social medias on Instagram, Facebook, right on X. Y'all already know what it is. I'm your humble host, the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Knight. We got Mr. Exclusive. We're here. Thank you again for watching the Exclusive Knights Podcast, where the Knights will never
Never
be
be
the
the
same.
same.